The previous topic is in the first chapter completed the successfully. I hope you are very well. You are written wise in the homeworks. So good. So in the cells or we can in the structurally functionally what is the main structure functions you know that everybody. But when the cells are in the grouping formation, what happened is there each and every cell we can separate function we can carry it. When the grouping wise what happened is there a group of cell formation is called tissues. So the tissues in the plants or animal we can difference. The plant body consisting of grouping formation of cells are there, and animal body consisting of a grouping formation of cells are there. So when the what happened when the plant consisting the group of cells is called plant tissues. So today in the chapter is plant tissue, a discussing chapter. How many topics are there in this chapter? The which topic, what we can explain out there in the any in the further studies are explain using or not. You can check it with the topic wise. So the plant tissues. The mainly, what are the main learning objects in the plant tissue? Introduction. Introduction. What we said introduction wise. What is the meaning of plant tissue? Whatever the different organism, all the plants are in the same type of tissues are there, like in the some plants are herbs is there, shrubs is there, and some trees are there, and some creepers, some climbers, different types of in the plants are there here. These all the plants in the same type of in the tissues is consisting or not. This and the next structural organization of tissue. In the structural organization of tissue means how the tissue is formed in the structurally, how the we can different cells in the plant body are there. In the stems contain one type of cells, roots consisting is one type of cells. In the, all the parts of the plant, different parts are there, different cells in the formation of tissues. How to begin the structurally organization of the tissues are there in the topic. And the next, the plants consisting of four tissues are there. One is the meristematic tissue, and the dermal tissue, ground tissue, vascular tissue. Meristematic tissue, dermal tissue, ground tissues, vascular tissues. Like in the growing tissues, when the plant grow up continuously, root tip and shoot tip, when the root grow up into the in the gravitational force wise, and the shoot grow up into the here in the upward formation. How the we can the shoot and root grow up continuously when the tip of the pod? What type of tissues continuous dividing are there, continuous generating the new cell formation? The total explain the meristematic tissue, how many types are there, how the sides are we can grow up, how the top end and bottom part, how to we can grow up positions to explain by the topic meristematic tissue wise. And the next, dermal tissue. In our body, in a protecting skin is there, like in the humans and the animals protecting skin, some feathers, some layers are we can present it. Whatever the plant consisting also one protecting layer. That protecting layer is called tissues, dermal tissue. Like in the epidermis is there, bark, in the cork, in the different types of layers is there here. Next, in the ground tissue, the plant's main function, the photosynthesis process we can occurs. In the photosynthesis to prepare the food. How to prepare the food? By the explain the topic of only totally ground tissue are there. Here different types of in the storage chymas are there, like parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Let's see here. And this is here meristematic tissue are there in the topic one wise. Three different types of meristematic are there here, like apical and the lateral or intercalary, or in the cambium is also called as apical part. We can observe the apical part here in the tip of the shoot apical and root apical part. In the corners position we can grow up continuously, and the lateral means only sides wise. In the sides wise only here stem we can size we can increase in the width wise the helping of lateral. Intercalary, in the nodes we can development with the helping of only intercalary system. The apical wise. In dermal tissue we can example you can observe the diagram dermal tissue like epidermis, cuticle, root hairs. In the stomata, cork part we can discussing out the hairs. I'm already saying the parenchyma. Three basic type of in the parenchyma are there: parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Again, number of types is there. This is the topic only. I'm introducing the topic only. What are the topic? And the next, sir, when they prepare the food itself in the plant body, how to we can the transport continuously in the one place to another place, involving some type of conducting tissue are there, that is called for vascular tissue. plant consisting, sorry, in the plants preparing food itself, that food how we can the passing or the next level by the helping of some tissue, that conducting tissue, that is called for in the water conducting separating and the food conducting separating. In the water conducting tissue is called for xylem tissue, and the food conducting, that means food passing to one place another place, is called for phloem tissue. You know that here water transport bottom to top and the food transport top to bottom. Why, sir? Because when the water we can absorb the plant body roots part, when the roots we can absorb the water, the continuous some pressure involving xylem pressure to the tip of the leaf part in the up top position, the water transporting are there, the tissue is called for xylem tissue. When the food where the food prepared into the leaf, so the food we can passing in the top to here bottom, that's when the size stem and the roots with size we can width increases, the grow continuously by help in the phloem wise. So that's why it's a xylem phloem, both tissues is called for here vascular tissues. So these all the topics explained clearly about in your second chapter into the plant tissue. Let us see what is the introduction about the plant tissue. Introduction. What we say is introduction wise in the plant tissue, it is a well known that fact all living organisms are made up of cells. Everybody know that. Let's go to introduction wise. Every living organisms the made up of cells, like in the unicellular are there, multicellular are there. Like go to the examples. Each and every living organisms made up of cells. It is well known fact, everybody know that. That's a fact or not? Yes. Like in the from unicellular to multicellular. For example, unicellular bacteria, diatoms, yeast in the protozoans, number of is here. What about the example of multicellular? Human beings. Your favorite animals, lion, tiger, dog, and also some insects, also some cockroaches in the neem, the plants also are there. Everybody is the multicellular organisms. But each unicellular organisms made up of only single cell. Yes or no? Unicellular organism made up of only single cell. These cell we can act as in the site of all life activities, like in the digestion we can take, and respiration, and to releasing wastage as well as excretion, and the reproduction is maintained only one cell or the hairs. The performed only single cell. What about the multicellular organisms? In the multicellular organisms, the composed of a million of different types of cells are the hairs. Like in the plant is example of multicellular organism. This plant made up of in the millions of different types of cells, and these cells they clustered together in order to perform specific function of the body. When the each and every cell separating, there is no function at here. When the cells are grouping formation, the cells are cluster wide formation, and there's some specific function we can do the body. Like we can go to the example are there here. When the all cells are gathering formation, forming the one organ are there here. That a group of cell formation is tissues. A group of tissue formation here organ. A organ, what is the function? Stomach is organ. What is the function? Digestion. And eye one of the organ, visualization. And the nose one of the organ is smelling. So different organs of your body in the helping order with the different perform specific functions. In the same way, plant also we can the forming of in the organ wise, in the forming of tissues wise, the performing special functions are there. Yes or no? That means when the cells wise is different, when the cells grouping formation wise is a different function carrying the plant or animal body, like unicellular or multicellular organisms. The normally everybody we can doubt are there everyone. Son, in higher plants and animals have highly complex bodies are they, the made up of various cells. When these cells are grouping or cluster formation is called for tissues. But tissues improving, what is the main function the tissues are only on? The tissues are improving the efficiency with the body functions by allowing the domain of divisions. And each tissue specializes a particular job. Each tissues, I'm saying the apical tissues and dermal tissue, vascular tissue, and ground tissue are there. Each and every tissue some specialized, some specific function carrying the plant body. Like what is the meaning of tissue? Everybody doubts. A tissue is defined as a similar cells perform to help the perform a common function, have a common organ. That means a group of cells is called here tissue. A group of cells is called here only tissue or the hairs. But the study of tissue is called here histology. What is the study of tissue is here? Histology. A group of cells is called tissues. So the group of cells is called tissues. A group of in the tissues is called the study of tissue is called here histology. The study of tissue is called here histology. So normally this word we can the term coined by the Nehemiah Grew scientist and also some French biologist Bichot. Nehemiah Grew, this word we can term coined by here. The term the tissues coined by Nehemiah Grew, and it was referred to animal tissues too by a French biologist in the Bichot. In the plants wise Nehemiah Grew, in the animal tissue wise Bichot only scientist. So what are the main importance of in the plant tissues? It brings about divisions of labor in multicellular organisms, number of divisions, and each and every tissues carrying the perform different functions. And the tissues decrease the workload of individual cells. Normally tissue main function in the decrease the workload in the individual cells. The cells are individual in lot of works are there here. When the grouping formation wise what happen? The workload is decreases, one of the main importance. And also tissues become organized to form organs, which in turn form organ systems to the inefficiently of in the one organism formation wise we can occurs. And these are the different types of in the plant tissues of introduction and the importance. And go to the next, what is the concept map in this plant tissue? What is a mind map? So normally, how many type tissues are in the plant body? One is the temporary tissue, another one permanent tissue. The temporary tissue is called for meristematic tissue, and the permanent tissues are there in the permanent tissues. And we can go to the meristematic tissue wise. In the meristematic tissue, based upon in the position of the plant and based on organ wise, we can two different methods are there. In based on position of the plant, three types of is there: apical, intercalary, and lateral. Apical, lateral, and intercalary. Based on origin wise here, and here one is a primary and the secondary and promeristic mechanism. You can observe the deep wise. This is, and the based on organ wise you can three different structure organ wise and not organ that origin wise in the primary meristem, secondary meristem, and the primordial meristem are the hairs. And go to the temporary tissues is complete in the permanent tissue wise. In the permanent tissue, three different tissues are there. One is protective, one is supporting, and is conducting. Protecting is called for dermal tissue, consisting of two parts, epidermis and bark. That's a cork. And supporting tissue is called for here three different parenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. The parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma appear in the plant body in the stems and the leaves, formation of the erected position in the plants. Like in the different types are there ground tissue wise, parenchyma wise, arenchymas, chlorenchyma, and storage tissues are there. Collenchyma wise, lamella, laminar collenchyma, sclerenchyma wise in the fibers are some sclerodes also is presented. And connecting tissue wise, the connecting tissue also called as vascular tissue, and this is called for consisting the water conducting and food conducting, xylem and phloem part. And this is a concept map is there here. Everybody here to write the must and should to perform here. What is the introduction of the plant tissue and what are the importance, and write the mind map of in your classwork wise. These only topics are here. Tomorrow you have to started in your introduction is completed, and tomorrow you have to started activities are there in your like in this chapter, like in the parts of the plant, other functions, cells in onion peel, cells in a leaf peel, cells in root tip, and activities connect in the next class only.